yell loud enough so the people across the province and the pigs across the province can hear us. Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets!
Good morning, Bill. Thanks for having me.
What was that protest all about last night?
So I guess a big part of the story that isn't being told here, wasn't in the former interview, was the march was actually organized around the criminalization of dissent and police brutality in relation to the student demonstrations that have been happening over the last month in Vancouver in solidarity with Quebec. So basically last night we organized a demonstration. There was a group of us. Are you still with me, Bill?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so it was in response to preliminary arrests that took place on June 17th and June 22nd. On June 17th, we organized what we call a casserole demo. It's nightly marches that have been happening in Quebec and actually internationally now in solidarity with the student movement, where people take to the streets with pots and pans and bang them. A lot of you may have heard it. It's been in the news quite a bit.
Yeah.
So on the 17th, we had a march, and we were marching towards Burrard Bridge, a bridge that's been taken by many protests, including the peace marches that happened in the 1970s.
Yeah.
When we reached the bridge, the police formed a line and started arresting people for loitering charges.
So there were arrests made?
There's been multiple arrests. There's been 12 arrests made in total over the last 3 weeks, I believe.
Any charges laid?
These arrests that took place were on the 17th and the 22nd. There were no arrests yesterday, and there have been multiple charges laid. Most of them have been dropped, and I'm assuming the rest will be dropped later on in court. Not only were arrests made, but Sasha Wiley, she's been in the media quite a bit. She's a local teacher. She's also quite involved with the BC Teachers Federation. She was arrested on the 22nd, and she had her wrist broken and a number of abrasions and bruises as a result of her arrest. And her charge was simply loitering in the streets. So they've taken an extraordinarily heavy-handed approach. I mean, you know me, Bill. We've talked before, and I've been organizing the city for years, and I've attended hundreds of marches, and never have I seen this large of a police presence at a demonstration. So it's been quite surprising, and all of our marches have been peaceful so far, the ones that I've been involved in organizing, and it's very interesting. I spoke with Ken Athens. He's a sergeant with the crowd control unit with the Vancouver Police Department. He disclosed to me that he'd been sent out to Montreal for tactical training on how to deal with the student movement that's occurring here in Vancouver. That was later confirmed by Lindsay Houghton, who's the VPD media spokesperson, in a Tyee article written by David Ball. And it's shocking that they're willing to invest this amount of funds into training police officers on how to kibosh one specific movement. I mean, this isn't something that we're seeing throughout housing marches or throughout anti-gentrification marches or marches for violence against women. This is something, it's basically targeted criminalization of dissent in relation to the casserole marches. So,
is that why the police have become seemingly the target of the march, and the F the police signs and the faggots F the state, and why would you use that kind of language if you're looking?
Well, I think it's the word faggot. It's very different when someone who's a part of a marginalized group uses a word that's been used against them in the past. Me, myself, I identify as queer and a lesbian, and if I were to use the word dyke, it's very different than if you were to use the word dyke, right? Like, I think it's about reclaiming a word. I can't comment on the signs. I didn't make the signs. But I can comment on the word faggot, and I don't think it's inappropriate for someone to self-identify, and especially to reclaim a word that's been used in a really oppressive way against.
But why would you want to? I mean, if it's so offensive, and it is, why would? I don't understand the. Greg, good morning.
Hi. Lauren wasn't really telling the full story here. First, she says that Sasha Wiley had a broken wrist. Sasha Wiley claimed to have a broken wrist at first, and later she claimed it was sprained. So the person who claimed that she had cracked ribs didn't have cracked ribs. At least nobody went to the hospital. They all went to the medic, who was a member of Occupy Vancouver. I was a member of Occupy Vancouver. I observed these people who have been aggressive towards the police since the beginning. They have a definite agenda to go after and attack the police. And now Lauren is saying there's too many police. Vancouver has a crime problem. Vancouver has an organized crime problem. What is it? A number of people just got shot by the mayors the other day. We have riots in the streets. It seems to me that they have an agenda to distance the people from the police, and it's just not the right thing to do.
Lauren Gill, let me give you the last word.
Yeah, so in terms of the injuries, there absolutely were injuries, and we have medical reports that we can fax off to anyone who wants them. There were 4 visits in total to St. Paul's Hospital. One woman has a hairline fracture in her wrist. I believe, I apologize, I did say Sasha Wiley's arm was broken. I think at first they thought it was a fracture. It is a sprain, but there is a woman whose arm was broken. We do have papers from the hospital, and there was also another woman who was detained who had three cracked ribs. I don't, like I said, you've got my email address. I'm more than happy to send all of that information to you.
Why did you push Kate? Hey, why